From Memorial Hall in Hutchinson, this is Kansas Hidden Treasures, the second annual Downtown Hutchinson Antique Appraisal Fair. I'm Pat Moyer from KPTS, and we're glad you've joined us. You know, Kansans from all over the state have brought their hidden treasures. They brought antiques, collectibles, maybe even some family heirlooms, just to find out what they're worth. We're excited to bring you a local program, kind of a Kansas spin on the appraisal shows that have become so popular here on KPTS and elsewhere. I'm ready if you are. Let's go inside. Let's see some Kansas hidden treasures.
Hi, I'm Mark Buckley. This is Vicki Wolf, and Vicki has brought to me a very interesting item. This is a 1915 Wizard of Oz book, and I'm a Wizard of Oz collector. I have about 30 different books, and when I saw this, Vicki, I was very impressed, because not only is this an old book, and I'm going to open it up here to show you, it has cutouts of all the characters of the Wizard of Oz. And you'll notice here is the Scarecrow, and down here is Pirate Face, and over here is Tick-Tock, and here's the Tin Woodsman. So this has all the characters from the Wizard of Oz, not just the ones we know from the movies. And as you can see, here is Toto, and here is King Kittiway, and different ones. All the different characters as you see in the story. Now, what is unique about this is, see, it's not the book, it's the characters. And as we go through. Now, I went ahead and looked it up, and conservatively, I'm a toy dealer. I would probably offer somewhere around $2,500 to $3,000 wholesale. Retail, I would say, in the condition if it was mint, would be $8,500. But you're not quite mint, you've got a little damage. I would say probably around $7,000 is retail, and I would insure it for no less than $10,000. And one of the questions you asked me earlier is, will this appreciate in value? Right. And yes, it will. This will never be seen again. What you need to do, though, is make sure that you store this in acid-free paper and keep it well protected away from sun, water, and dirt. And if you do that, it will become a legend or a treasure you can pass on to your children and your children's children. But thank you very much for bringing this in. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you so much for the appraisal. This was great.
Okay, I'm Dave Broker. This is Doug and Terry, and they brought in this planter. It's a bronze with the flower frog piece that held the floral pieces, and as near as we can determine, it's probably late 1920s. I'll let you tell about what you know about it.
This was a present to my dad from an industrial representative relationship he had, and I think it was back in the 50s. And since then, it's kicked around the house and been a decoration and been a paperweight and been tucked in a garage and survived at least one garage sale when nobody wanted it. One day we were looking at it and realized that there is the artist's name on it, and the base of the bowl has Roman bronze works on it. And they happened to be the foundry in New York City that did the Remingtons. So they handled some very prestigious casters, and we wondered whether this was something special or not.
And we did some research on the internet today and found the artist, and he's a semi-famous sculptor from Chicago, and looks like it was most everything we're finding was done in the late 1920s, along in that period, and it looks to me like the value of it ought to be in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. It's a pretty nice piece of bronze, and everything we're finding in value on the internet has at least brought that much money in this size, and it all being original and not damaged in any way would really help it.
Pretty good for a family outcast.
Yeah.
It's going to stay the way it is together, in a place of honor in the house now.
So what are you bringing today?
This lamp.
Very nice. These lamps were made in the 1920s, probably the late teens to 1930. They're called slag glass lamps. It has some Art Deco designs in it. This is slag glass, caramel slag glass on the top. Has the corral up above. A very, very nice style. These lamps range in a retail situation $650 to $850.
My mother got it at an auction. I had no idea what it was worth, but my mother just loved it. She thought it was beautiful, and I do too. I think it's real pretty.
Cheryl, you didn't have far to come. You're from right here in Hutch.
No.
You've got a good-looking chair here. There's got to be a story behind it.
There is a wonderful story behind it. It's kind of a love story.
Those are the best.
Yeah, there was a lady from here in Hutchinson that went on a cruise to Hawaii.
Hawaii.
And
yeah.
she found a man in Hawaii, and they fell in love. So
she brought the man back?
Yes, she
and the
brought,
chair.
And the chair. And then I bought it at a garage sale.
Right.
And
can I ask you what you paid for it?
$25.
$25. I don't have to know what it's worth to tell you got a good deal.
Yes, I did get a good deal. They appraised it, and it appraised at $350.
$350. It's a pretty good return on a $25 investment.
You betcha. And it's been a lot of fun.
Do you let people sit on it?
You know what? I do. It sits in my front room. I have a cushion for it, and we use it every day.
Well, you've taken good care of it, and now that you know it's worth $300 and something,
they may not sit on it.
Well, you're going to continue to take good care of it.
Yes, I will.
Thanks for showing us your chair.
You're sure welcome, and thank you. It's been fun.
Let's take a look at some more Kansas hidden treasures.
So, Barbara, what have you brought to the appraisal fair?
I brought this old mirror. I think it's old. I've had it probably 46 years. I got it, we had a rental in northern Kansas, and they moved out during the night because they owed rent, and they left a bunch of stuff, and this was there.
These mirrors were real popular in the 1920s and 30s, and they were placed behind a buffet. If you had a buffet that didn't have a mirror on the back, or a sofa. A lot of them are called sofa mirrors. So it fits back there. This is all made out of plaster and gesso and hand painted. This one's in real good shape. It's starting to get some of the plasters cracking and stuff, but that's just from age. But I've seen a lot of them, and this one is in really good shape. The mirrors usually are cloudy by now, and these are still nice and clear. It still has the etching on the corners, and the value of this mirror is between $250 and $350. So,
No,
still has all the original painting up here.
I try to take care of it.
Yep, it's in great shape.
I thought maybe I'd get a little bit more out of it, but I didn't know. Had no idea. So, but you know, for getting it free.
Can you tell us a little bit about this clock?
Well, I got from my brother-in-law about 40 years ago, and I took it in to get it cleaned and make sure it working okay. And the clockmaker that worked on it said that he thought it was from the 1880s, and I've had it hanging on the wall running for the last 40 years, and it runs good. It's all in good shape. So
this is a German wall clock, and probably made in the 1880s, like you said, and it looked like the condition is excellent condition. It has a horse that's not on top of it. We didn't want it to fall. I think it's all original, and nothing's ever been replaced. It's very good. It strikes on the hour and the half hour.
Right.
And it's in very good condition. And how much did you pay for it, or did you get it given to you?
I done some trading around with my brother-in-law. I traded him a set of tires, and and I think we figured it about $100 value when at 40. I think that was in late 60s, 66 or 67.
Well, for a while the clocks went up real high, and in the last 4 or 5 years antiques have dropped some. But this clock, I would say the value probably today, you're probably looking at $1,000 to $1,200 range. And if you got the right auction or the right person that want it, possibly more. But it's a very nice condition clock. It's running for 40 years, and I guess it keeps good time, right?
Yes, it keeps good time.
and I think it's a great clock, and I'm glad you brought it to the...
Well, thank you, and I like that appraisal. That sounds good. Thank you very much.
Ruth, you brought a picture here to Memorial Hall. This one's been in the family a long time, I understand.
Yes, quite a while.
What's the story?
Well, as far as we can trace back, it was my great-granddaddy and grandmother's.
Grandfather and mother.
Yes,
okay. Do you have any idea what this is worth? It's been in the family forever, so...
We can't trace it. That's why we brought it to you.
I'll bet it's worth more to the family than...
oh, I'm sure.
Or would you think about selling it?
Oh, no.
No, oh, no. Well, tell me what you do know about the picture.
It just that I remember as a small child, seeing it hanging in my granddaddy's home. When I got it, you couldn't see the details on it because evidently the chalk dust was on the inside of the glass, and we didn't realize it until I took it apart.
So you've done a little bit of restoration, minor, at least reframed it?
Just reframed it, yes. The original frame was a cutout, wood cutout, and it was so brittle they would break when we handled it, so therefore my daughter had it reframed for me for Mother's Day.
You've got a family heirloom. Even if you find out it's worth $1 million, well, that might put you in a little bit of a pickle, but I'll bet you'll hold on to it.
It stays in the family, yes.
Thanks for showing us your picture, Ruth.
Well, thank you.
Let's see some more Kansas hidden treasures.
Yeah, Paul, we just looked at a clock of yours. What else is this you brought to us? Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, I would call it a coal bin, and I got it from my brother-in-law. He had an old house in Garden City, Kansas, that his parents built. I think it was in the late 1800s. And he was going to tear the house down, and he said, go through it. If there's anything in there you want, why, take it. So I said, I found this, and I thought, well, that's too good to leave in the house. So I took it home, and that's been probably 40 years ago that I picked it up. We just use it in the bedroom for a nightstand.
This is nice. It's a coal hod, and I'd say it's the late 1800s. Probably it was original in that house, and it opens up where you put the coal in here and shovel it out as you need it in the fireplace, and it's very well made. It looks like it's it might be walnut or looks like a walnut. East Lake style. Has a mirror in the back. Makes a great side piece for beside your bed. And it's very nice. Got the original handles, all original finish, and it's a very nice piece. And I would say at auction, Paul, this probably brings somewhere between $400 and $600. It's very nice.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you looking at it for me, and that sounds like a reasonable price to me. I'd be happy with that.
You like your price?
Yes.
Free.
Right.
Jeannie, this is a nice rocker. Where did you obtain this rocker?
Well, my family was cleaning out my grandmother's garage, and I saw this and had to know the story behind it. And it turns out that about 50 or 60 years before we were doing that, one of my grandmother's neighbors wanted to store it in the attic of her garage. So this thing was in the attic of the garage for at least 50 or 60 years. And I never saw it until that day we were cleaning out the garage. That had to have been 25, 30 years ago.
Did you buy it, or did they give it to you? Or
they
what
just
kind
gave
of
it to me. Actually, no one wanted it. So
yeah, nice.
I was excited about it. I thought it had a lot of character, and I could tell it was well loved, and they just gave it to me. I think it would have gotten thrown out if I hadn't.
Well, this chair is mission oak, and you can tell by the slats and stuff. It was made probably between 1915 and 1925.
Okay.
It's early mission because it has Victorian characteristics. It has the animal heads, which is very unusual for mission, and it has a little scroll on the seat, which is different for mission stuff. Most generally, it's real plain square.
Okay.
It also has a tooled leather back, which is real nice too. And if you look at the bottom of the chair, it has quarter-sawn seat, which is real neat. And what they done back in those days, if they took a log and run it straight through the saw, it would be straight grain. If they turned it a quarter turn, it would cut across grain and make that plain quarter-sawn look, which is really nice. And this chair has been well used because you can see the arms are used.
Yeah.
It was made in Michigan. It has a label on the bottom that says Michigan manufacturing.
Okay.
It was made in Michigan probably back in the late, around the 20s is when it was made. It's a very nice chair, and it's solid, and you could use this chair without any problem. It wouldn't hurt to refinish this chair and make it nicer for the house. I don't think you'd decrease the value at all.
Okay.
And I'd say this chair at auction today would probably bring between $400 and $500.
All right.
And I'd say maybe more if somebody like Mission and had a collection, they might pay more than that for it. But it's in very nice shape. It's solid, and if I was you, I'd clean it up and use it.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
It's very nice.
Well, hello, Barbara. Hi. What do you have for us today?
Well, I have an Eisenberg pen that my mother gave me a long time ago, and she lived to be about 102, and she dressed very formally in Wichita, Kansas. And this came from Ennis's department store, and she's been telling me it's from the early 30s. And I've had it all this time and worn it a lot, and I think it's beautiful and very different, and it's sterling silver.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece, and it is signed sterling, and it is an Eisenberg original, which is one of the first pins they made. Eisenberg is top of the line costume jewelry. Collectors go crazy when they can find that good Eisenberg pieces. The Eisenberg started making dress clips, and then people started stealing the clips off the dresses. So they started making jewelry. They said, well, if they like it so much, we'll make jewelry. And the Eisenberg original on this shows that this was made when they first started doing that, which would have been in the 30s and 40s, which is what you're saying it goes with what your mom said when she purchased it. With it being sterling silver and heavy and big, it's a very, very desirable piece. The size of it, it is missing one of the stones, and all of this is costume jewelry, so these are costume pieces. This is glass and just pieces. These are not gemstones, these are not real jewels, but the costume piece, but as the costume value, this could be close to a $2,000 piece for the costume. But with the one piece missing, you bring it a little bit down. Personally, if I had it for sale, I would sell it, personally for myself, for $1,500 is what I would have it listed as for a costume piece. Just because of the sterling, the early date of the Eisenberg, and everybody loves the Eisenberg. They're the easy ones. They're the ones people like to collect.
Well, thank you for telling me about that.
All right. Thanks for bringing it in.
Okay.
Jake, not everybody has a Picasso. How you happen to come by a Picasso?
Hey, we came by the Picasso. My wife got it as a graduation present when she graduated from college. She got it from one of her uncles that was an art guru, and he just had it hanging on his wall and decided that we needed it a little worse than he did.
Not a typical graduation gift.
No, it's not.
Got a letter of authentication on the back?
Yes, it does.
It's a, what, 1961 lithograph?
Yep. Yeah, we've got all the paperwork and everything on the back showing what it is and everything. Nobody's really sure what it's worth.
And it hangs on the wall at home?
Hangs on the wall at home.
What's it worth to you, though?
Priceless.
Yeah, yeah, it surprised me. If you found out it was worth big money, would it still hang on the wall at home?
I'm sure my wife would just as soon sell it and pay off the house.
Hi, and today we have Gene with us, and he has brought a train in here for me to appraise. Tell me a little bit about it, Gene.
Well, it's a train set, I believe, around the 1950 time frame, and it actually belongs to our son down Lincoln. So he gave us to us to keep, and we've always kind of been wondering what it was worth, or what the value of it was, or whether it was in condition or rare, or anything like that. And so with his permission, we brought it down today and let you look at it and see what you think on it.
Well, when I saw this, I was very excited because I'm a train collector, and one thing train collectors like are engines that are in really good shape. When we rate engines, we always have mint, excellent, like new, and it goes all the way down to poor. This train is in excellent condition. This is what we call a Christmas train, which meant people ran it at Christmas and put it away. It's from the mid-50s. It's a 681 engine, and what's unique about it is it comes with a Pennsylvania tender. It also came with a Lionel line tender, so it came two different ways. This has the magnet traction. What happens is that these wheels are actually magnetized, and it keeps it on the track. It has the full 8 wheels. It has a 6-wheel truck and a trailer, and it kept it on the track. The newer, the 2020, which is a newer version, did not have the spring, and they do have a tendency to fall off. What is unique also on this that I saw was the front end has not been dropped, it's not been bent. You'll notice there are no steps. This engine didn't come with steps. It does have a light. It does have a smoker on it. The smoker has a little bit of smoke in it. And all you have to do is you have a cleaner in there, you push it in there, and it'll put it back in. This engine's ready to run. It's just amazing shape. I'm just really impressed.
So the difference on the tender is it's better to have Pennsylvania than Lionel?
Yes, the Pennsylvania is the rarer of the two, and this is a very good tender. Again, what I'm looking for is, you notice it has the 6 wheels, it has the scoop, it has the steps right here are still there, never been broken. This tender's not cracked, nothing wrong with it. It looks just like it did when it came out of the factory. There's not a chip, there's not a dent, there's not a nick on any of this, which is rare to see. What was unique about this train, it came with this caboose, and a lot of cabooses worth about $4. They're not very expensive, $4 to $10. This one is. It has the double coupler. You'll see there's one in the front, one in the back. It also has the toolboxes underneath, and it is lit. It's one of the harder to come by cabooses. This was a very expensive set. It came with probably this box car, this gondola, and a tank car. And you'll find that this is the higher end caboose. And I see them maybe 1 out of 150, 200, very rarely. This car right here that came with it has a little pop-out man. You went across the uncoupler. What happens is the door is closed. See if I can get it closed here. And then when you hit the uncoupler, it pulls this plunger down, and he pops out. And then you have to put him back in. This one over here, as you can see, has got the milk man in it. You put it on the same piece of track. It also had a button that said unload. The doors would open. This one happens to be the spring, and you can get those very easily. They're very inexpensive. And that little man would pop out a milk can. The milk cans went in here. They go out on a platform, which you do have. We don't have it on camera, but we do have it. And it came with, I believe, 6 cans. I apologize on that. This also is the gondola. There are 3 gondolas. There's the red, the green, and the black. The black's very common, $10 car. The red is the medium, and the green is the rarer of the 3. Very good car, all excellent shape.
What about cleaning them?
Cleaning them, you do not use any harsh cleaners. Don't use Windex. Don't ever use Windex. Don't ever use Mr. Clean. Don't ever use 409. What it'll do is it'll take all this hot stamping off. Some of these are hot stamped, like this one. They actually took a heated stamp this in Pennsylvania, and they put it over foil, and it stamped it in. These are just decal. These are silk screened on, and it will come off easily. Notice on these cars, no signage problem whatsoever, any of this. It also came, you had the kit, and what's unique about your kit, it has all the pieces. Here's your smoke cleaner. You just set this inside, plunge it, and it cleans out the smokestack. It has the oil container, the grease, the track cleaner, and all your picks and brushes to clean, and a rag. And what is really nice is you have the boxes over here to go for the engine and the tender. Very hard boxes to find. The other boxes are for the semaphore and the other cars you have. Everything you brought me had boxes, which really increased the value about 25 to 40%. Now, what's it worth? Everything here plus what other you have for me, conservatively, I would say $500. The other things I saw in your collection could run up to $1,000. And I'm going to tell you what, thank you very much. Again, I see very few pieces this clean.
We've heard that the market's down a little bit, but I think our son will be happy. And I'm sure he could use the money if he decides to sell it, but he's not one to sell things. So,
Colleen, I see you brought a watch. Tell me a little bit about the watch, if you have any history of the watch.
We actually received it from my mother-in-law, who purchased it at a real estate sale. It was in the back of a jewelry box, and I picked it up and thought it was pretty. Didn't expect it to work, and so I cleaned it up and realized it was shining just like my wedding ring, and decided I took it to the jewelry store, and they told me it was real diamonds, but they couldn't appraise it, so I have no idea what it's worth.
Well, I'll be happy to take a look at it. I see it's called a Lady Hamilton. It's made by Hamilton Watch Company. They were made in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. This watch was made in the 50s. It happens to be a solid gold, 14-karat white gold case and bezel. So all you see is white gold. The band is not solid gold. It's actually a Speidel band. Not the original, but it's been a replacement band, but the value is all into the watch. The Lady Hamilton was a higher end of the Hamilton watch company for ladies. This model happens to be a 22 jewel, which was the highest premium of their watches. It has like an unbreakable mainspring, and it was just built as a good quality watch. The diamonds, they always use really top of the line nice diamonds too. And there's about a ½ carat total weight of all the diamonds together. If we added all the diamond weights together. The value of this watch, I would put this in about $3,000. Is the value of this watch. So it's very pretty valuable, and it's an absolutely beautiful watch. The interesting is it's very little wear. I'm not seeing much wear in the case. The original case was made with little lines. They are still there, so there's not a lot of wear on that. Someone didn't wear it a whole lot.
Fantastic, but I'm definitely going to be more careful when I'm wearing it.
I hope you've enjoyed Kansas Hidden Treasures, the second annual Downtown Hutchinson Antique Appraisal Fair. I'm Pat Moyer from KPTS, and we appreciate you watching. And if you like the show, let us know. We'd like to hear from you. I hope you can join us again next year. Maybe you have a Kansas Hidden Treasure.